Hey there, this is Kim Klaver, and this is a little note for those of you that are already in a network marketing business. I want to tell you 3 little mini stories. Number one, the guy's initials are J.A. I've known him for about 17 years, and he's now making over $160,000 a month. That's pretty obnoxious income by anybody's standards when it's a business of your own that you started and that you can basically do in your pajamas from home if you want. But I thought I'd tell you the story about him. It took him 11 years before he made any money at all. I mean, more than $100. And it took him almost 11 years before he signed anybody up. And this is somebody who worked on a part-time basis, showing the plan a few times a week. All those years, all those weeks. I think 22 companies he told me he went through. So now, of course, he's making $160,000 or $70,000 a month, and everybody goes, oh my God, I got to have that income. So I'm going to try to do what he did and try to earn that. And what I'm telling you is that when you realize that somebody like this is making this giant money, you want to also ask how it is that they're doing that. And if it took somebody 11 years doing it part-time, then how would you feel about making obnoxious income but going at it and staying the course also for 11 years, doing, say, 3 to 5 shows every week? Would you be willing to do that for the chance, a very good chance, to make this kind of income? Okay, that's the first story. Second story is a guy that's one of the top earners in North America. I think he's making $300,000 a month now. And of course, we know this guy as David Wood. He's the CEO of Empower Network. The money I'm talking about is what he's earning as a result of being an affiliate for the company, because that's how he wants to make his money also. So that's the money we're talking about. Now, this is a guy who lived in a van, and his style and his dress and his manners are, you know, what a lot of people consider really kind of socially low class. And he doesn't have many of the refinements that people think you should have if you're making, you know, several $1 million a year, or if you're a CEO of a company. But what he had was tremendous drive and tremendous curiosity and an intense kind of willingness to do anything to learn how to make money like the people he saw and heard in network marketing companies. So he would do things like collar people in Walmart. I mean, how many of you would go to Walmart and, you know, talk to people there and say, hey, you want to come to a meeting? You might be able to make some money. Are you open to other options? Whatever it is, these are the kinds of things he used to say. And he didn't sign up anybody in his first network marketing company for 6 months. He signed up nobody. So if you're in that place and you haven't signed up anybody, don't cry, because unless you're doing it full time, he did it full time. He didn't sign up anybody for 6 months when he was 21. And he had already seen businesses like this. He knew how much money people could make. He was very intense, did it most of his waking time, and still didn't sign anybody up. So if you're like that, you know, don't cry. You got to keep going, because what happened is, what he said is, I had no really experience, didn't really know anything, had a big mouth, and had no credibility. Now, you know, that's a pretty honest thing to say for somebody who's at this point making so much money. But many people starting out, you may not really have any credibility. If you're one of those who goes, well, I don't have any friends, nobody loves me anymore, I don't have any warm market, I don't really know what to do, you've basically lost your credibility with those people. So what do you have to do? Well, you have to make new contacts. You need to develop a whole new warm market. Why? Because that's what people do in order to find that person that's going to be the one that really is going to make a big difference, or 2 or 3. Or you learn other new tricks, like you learn how to market online. That's what Dave Wood did. He learned how to market online, but really not before he'd learned the hard way, dragging people to meetings literally every single night. And, you know, didn't sign up anybody in 6 months. After 3.5 years, he said, he'd signed up 15 people, was making about $100 a week. And everybody laughed at him, that he knew, of course, because, like, idiot, you know, there's no money in this thing. What's the matter with you? You know, you're making like $100 a month. And of course he said, I hated the companies. I hated myself, but I blamed the companies and I blamed the industry. And I figured it's them. It doesn't work. The whole thing's just, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't, that's 3.5 years, $100 a month. This is not exactly a boatload of money. But he had seen other people, like all of us, we know there are people out there. It's not like one or two people. There are like a half a dozen to a couple dozen in every major company that are making over 100 grand a month, pretty much. So you know it can be done. You don't have to wait to die to see which heaven you're going to go to. It's right here on earth. It's happening right now. You just need to know what the stories are behind those people, but they're there and they're above ground. You can meet them and talk to them. So he, made some changes in what he did. And 5 years later, they developed Empower Network, where he's now earning, $300,000 a month. And there's really one reason for that, quite apart from all of his intense testing and experimenting and trying it for, 7 years. They also pay 100% commission. And their products are digital and they're relatively high ticket. So it's not like they have a $25 product, but they also have a $3,500 product. So when he sells one of those and gets a $3,000 commission, that's more than most other people get in affiliate type marketing programs, particularly network marketing programs. Some of the other affiliate programs, like the Andy Jenkins video programs, are $2,000. Frank Kern's programs were all, Mass Control were all $2,000. We all bought those and used those of us that are in that, learning how to market online. So, he has that advantage. I think if he were in a regular company, if he had the same number of people, this is just a guess on my part, but we've been around, so it's not too difficult to figure this out, he wouldn't be making $300,000 a month. If you have every single person doing the same volume, doing the same number of orders, because let's say he does 10 million a month. Well, if you get 10% of that, that's going to be, what's 10% of 10 million? I guess it's $1 million a month, right? Versus if you're doing 10 million a month in volume, and if you make 50% of that, then you get 5 million a month. And if you make 100% of that, you make 10 million a month. So one of the reasons he's making so much is not only because he really got good at it after 3.5 years of full-time doing it wrong and insisting it was them and the business and whatever. And now he's learned how to do it, but one reason that he's making so much is that the percent that he's earning is 100% of the orders that people bring, that people make, versus the usual 10 to 15% in all the other network marketing companies. And again, I think I mentioned, it's not that the other companies are evil, they're not. It's just they market stuff that has manufacturing cost and has a shipping cost and has, has costs involved, like, that are more traditional, like nutritional products and skincare products. You have tubes, you have cream, you have inventors, all that stuff. And what they do is they spend their money showing people on videos and audios and PDFs what they've done to become successful. So yes, they spend a lot of money developing the programs and then putting it all on tape and making it available to us. It's what we market, is basically all their success stories and the how-tos in all these different ways of marketing online. That's what we market, and that's what I'm learning from myself. But then they make them all available and pay out 100% because the idea that they had was, let's do network marketing and pay the salespeople more than what they're getting paid right now. So they went with digital products, online products. They paid 100% because they were quite clever and figured out how they're going to make their own money, which is the company makes its money by $19.95 a month that all of us as affiliates pay. And since there are like 100,000 of those people, that's, 100,000 people times $20 a month, basically. You can figure out that's enough to, keep the lights on. So that's the second story. So somebody who is now making massive income, $300,000 a month, who didn't sign up a single person in 6 months, and after 3.5 years of intense work, had 15 people in his group and making $100 a month. Okay. Now, a couple of years later, he hit his stride, and suddenly he had a $20,000 a month, and he never went back. Never went back. So the third story it's the kind of story we hear once in a while, and sometimes people tell it. This is a guy, his initials are RF, and he's been in internet marketing for probably 10, 15 years. And it so happened that one day he was in a regular network marketing company, the card sending company, and he signed up a guy who he signed up one person there, who ended up doing such massive business with that company that RF is now getting and has been getting for about 7 years, almost $10,000 a month. So these are the stories that we all dream about. Think, oh, I'm going to sign up somebody who does that, does so much business. And what I'm here to tell you is once in a blue moon, like you win the lottery, that'll happen. But don't count on it. Count on this. If you want obnoxious income, plan on doing obnoxious work in terms of level of work, and probably obnoxious type of work as well. If you're not willing to collar somebody in Walmart, or willing to make totally new friends, or find totally new ways to reach people, to find the few really who are the right ones for being an entrepreneur in a business like this, you won't survive the process. So, you can start, but you won't finish because you're going to run out of steam, because you're not aware of what the odds are, what the numbers are. It has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with you have to go through the numbers and learn how to do it. Like he said at the beginning, I had no credibility. So chances are very good that you may not have any credibility, or if you do, you have to figure out how to come out of your shell and make videos and do stuff like what we're doing here so that you can have massive leverage, people seeing what you're doing to see who the right ones are to sign up for whatever company you're in. And then secondly, in addition to obnoxious and abnormal work effort and types of things that you have to do, you want to be sure that the money that you earn, you get the most per sale, which is why, of course, if I know that I sell $1,000 product and I can earn $1,000, I'd rather do that. Particularly at this point in my life, I want to make more money sooner rather than later. So if I can sell $1,000 product, why would I take 200 in a commission if I can get 1,000? Particularly when the products are something that I personally love using, love recommending, and have learned so much from myself. So those are the features. Be prepared to do, if you want obnoxious abnormal income, are you willing to do obnoxious abnormal amount and type of work? This is not for the faint of heart. You really have to decide you're going to go to the top and you're not coming back. And on the way, it may take you 3 years. It took Dave Wood 3.5 years before he made $100 a month. And he's good. And he's intense. So would you be willing to put in 5 years for the chance to make, say, even $10,000 a month? Where else are you going to do this? What other kind of occupation could you have, job-wise, that gives you an opportunity to do this? And of course, it's a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun to learn how to do new stuff. But if you don't think it's fun, if you don't find making mistakes that's satisfying to you, if overcoming obstacles is not something that you really enjoy doing, if every time you make a mistake you want to shoot yourself, or you want to tell yourself how dumb you are, this will never work for you, because you are going to be making mistakes up the gazoo. And you have to realize that you, like they say, you kind of feel your way to success, but you have to know that beforehand, see? That's what it's going to be. Because once you know, then you go scratch off another one. There's another thing that didn't work. Like Edison, number 999, the bulb doesn't work yet. And then finally he got to 1,000 or whatever it was, and the thing did work. So you decide, I'm going to go until. That's it. Because it can be done. There are hundreds of people walking around on Earth making $100,000 a month across all our companies. And if I can figure out how to stay the course and do it smarter and build my credibility up, you have a really good chance of being there too. At least you'll be in very, very good company. People that have done things with themselves that other people never have done. But you have to want it. You have to want this so much that the process will be something that you see as more of a challenge, because it's hard. It's hard to do this and keep going. But it's also hard to have a job. You pay less, and you get paid less, obviously, than the entrepreneur. That's why the people who run the company make the most money. If they started it, they're the ones who took that risk. But having a job isn't such a piece of cake either. But it may be more something that you want because it's more defined, and there's a beginning and an end. But for those of us who want the obnoxious income, where you think you got something, or you want to learn it, or you can become something that you really want to be, this is a marvelous ticket. Just know, 3.5 years for one of the best paid people in America today in our industry. Took him 3.5 years to get to $100 a month and sponsor 15 people. And in his first 6 months, he didn't sponsor anybody, despite the loud mouth and the talking and dragging people into the meeting every single night. And that's, Dave Wood's story. And the first gentleman I talked to you about, It took him 11 years before he finally made some money. So it takes that doing it on a regular basis, and that's why you have to decide if this is something that's for you. And then, of course, last, figure out what you're making. Because if you're making 20% on every $100 sale, it's going to take you a lot longer to get to $100 than if you make the whole thing, which is, of course, why Empower has an advantage there. You can make more money sooner for that reason. So consider these things, and if you are one of those people who's complaining because you haven't signed anybody up in 6 months, remember Dave Wood. He didn't sign anybody up for 6 months either, and he was working at full time. All right? So give yourself a break. Obnoxious income requires preparation and readiness to do obnoxious type of work and amount of work for a sustained period of time. All right? All right. Talk soon. Bye.